This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lechdech Musar podcast. We continue with Pirkei Avos, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Ches. Yudah ben Tabai, Shimon ben Shetach kiblu mehem. Yudah ben Tabai and Shimon ben Shetach, they received the Torah from Yeshua ben Prachia, Nitai Ha'arbeli. Yehuda ben Tabai Omer. Yehuda ben Tabai says, Al tas atzmecha ka'orche hadayanim. Do not make yourself to be like those who arrange the judges, which is called a tayin. You present the case to the bezdin. And uchshiu bali hadin oindim lefanacha yu beinacha kerishaim uchsheniftar milfanacha yihu beinacha kizakain shekibu aleim esadin. So the Mishnah is telling us that if you are the judge, that when the litigants, the Bali Din, when they stand before you and they present their claims and their arguments, they should both seem to you like guilty people, even if you know one of them to be a highly respected person. Why is that? Because here the Dayan is supposed to try to try to unearth the emes the amita, and you have two people, two yidden, and they're fighting over whatever they're fighting over, money, disagreement, whatever it is, machlokes, and it's the Dayan's business, it's the Dayan's responsibility, his achrayus, to make sure that they reach the emes the amita. So he can't come in with any bias, he can't come in with any extra love, or because he's familiar with one of the Bali Dinim, or even if he's a Adam Chashav. Says the Mishnah, they should both be in your eyes like a Rasha. And continues the Mishnah, but when they leave your presence, but once they leave, then they should both be considered by you to be innocent people who have accepted the judgment upon themselves. So this is a beautiful Mishnah. The Mishnah is advocating that you should pursue emes. That's the first part of the Mishnah. They should both be in your eyes like a Rasha. But, says the Mishnah, we also have to pursue Shalom and make sure that once they leave and the right person, the Zakai, was found to be Zakai, and the not Zakai, the guilty person, was found to be guilty, they should both be in your eyes Zakai, innocent, even the one who isn't innocent. Why? Because he came to Bezdin, he wanted to do the right thing, he wanted to achieve the Ratzon Hashem, to do the right thing, to find the proper din, and because of that, it's incumbent upon the Dayan that he should look at both of them in a positive and innocent light. Moving on to Mishnah Tes. Shimon ben Shetach Omer, Havi marba lachkar sa'idim. Question witnesses at length. Don't just let them come in and say what they want and say, okay, and this must be it. Question them, investigate, rip them apart, pick at their words, cross-examine. And in general, a person should be zahir, should be very vigilant with his words, careful, because from your words, other people can learn to lie. So this, at face value, is talking about in Bezdin, that if you're the Dayan and you're talking and you're using language that a person can make diukim and implications from, you have to be very careful, because then the Dayan can use your words to come up with more sheker. So it says the Mishnah, you have to be very careful with your words, because mitoichan, from those words, they can extrapolate and dissect and derive sheker from those words. So a dayan and a tayin have to be very, very careful, especially because they are there, they're conduits to get to the emes lamita, to the truth of truths. So in Bezdin, everyone has to be very careful and attentive to what's coming out of their mouths. So the question is, for those of us who are not in a position of dayanas, of being a tayin, of being an aid, what in here do we take out for ourselves? So Revolba beautifully explains how this very much has to do with us. Revolba tells us that all of us, every yid, every person, every human being, we're always in positions of edus. What is edus? Edus is testimony. It's saying this is like this, that's like that. And because we're all in these positions, we are all confronted with situations of judgment, of testifying. It's very important that we take the words of the Mishnah to heart. And these words, Mar Balachkar Sa'idim. Mar Balachkar Sa'idim does not only apply literally to the Eidim and Bezdin, but we are all Eidim. We are all speculating, watching, observing the world, seeing how things unfold. And based on that, we become Edim to ourselves, to other. We testify, we say, this is how it is, this is how it's not, left, right, dark, light, up, down. We, based on our perception, based on our living life, we become Edim. And says Rav Wolbe, what do we take out of this Mishnah? Havimar belachkar esa Edim. It's not just that Bezin has to deeply investigate Edim and Bezdin, but we all, to ourselves, have to investigate ourselves before drawing conclusions, before drawing inferences, and that this is the way things are, this is the psak. We have to be very careful. Mar belachkar, we have to investigate ourselves before jumping to those conclusions. The Chafetz Chaim, Rav Wolbe quotes a famous mashal. A man once walked into shul, an ignorant man, and was on his journey to becoming a Baal Tshuva, to becoming a fully observant. And he was very deterred, he was very uneasy when he heard the following words in shul. When he heard the Kehillah say, the words from Ashrei, they were in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra, and we say, Kol Oyhavav ve'es Kol Hashem Yashmid. At the end of Ashrei, these are the words we say, Kol Oyhavav ve'es Kol Hashem Yashmid. That all of Hashem's lovers and all of the evildoers, Hashem is going to cut them out. Hashem is going to eradicate them. And this Baal Tshuva, this simple man, was so taken aback. He became so frustrated. He said, I want to become from now. I want to work on myself, on my observance, on my connection with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you're telling me that Oyavav, that the people that love Hashem are equated on the same level, the same frequency as the Rishon, and we're all going to get cut out? And he was so taken aback, and he gave up, and he was so sad. And he said, how can this be? And someone came over to him in a nice way and said, you tippish, you fool. Before drawing conclusions, why didn't you ask what came before those words of Ayav Aves Kol Hashem Yashmid? Before drawing your psak that this religion is insane, that this religion is upside down, that doesn't make any sense. How can Hashem equate and put together in one pot the good and the bad? He said tzaddik, he said the word right before Oyavav is Shomer Hashem Eskol. Hashem protects, Hashem safeguards, Hashem loves the Oyavav. And then there's a comma, Ve'ez Kol Hashem Yashmid. And all the evildoers will get cut down. Why didn't you take a moment to ask, to look in a siddur, and if you can't read, if you can't understand, ask, inquire. But don't just storm out of shul, throwing off your yarmulke, throwing out your religion. See the context. Ask. And realize that you don't have the right conclusion, and often in life we do the same thing. We're like this person, that we draw conclusions, we see X, but we didn't know it's really Y, we see Y, we didn't know it's X. And the Yisoid says, the Mishnah says, based on Rav Wolbe, elucidating on this Mishnah, Lachkor Sa'edim, it's not just in Bezin where there's a mandate to Lachkor Sa'edim, to investigate the Edim. We ourselves, we're all Edim. We're all gleaning from circumstances, from what goes on in the world around us, how things unfold, and we perceive it and we process it. But before we jump to any conclusions, make sure it's done with mesinus, with patience, with diligence, with clarity, with understanding the backdrop, the context. And if you don't understand, seek das Torah. Speak to your rabbi, speak to your friend, speak to your father, speak to your spouse, your friend, your chaver, whoever it may be. And make sure you truly understand. Because to be a functional person in this world, with all the insanity that goes on, that happens, we can become very deterred, very confused. But says the Mishnah, Lachkor Sa'edim, investigate yourself, ask. It's okay. Seek. Be open to other perspectives, to other ideas, to the emes, to das Torah. And that's the way we can uphold ourselves, keep ourselves as Shomer Torah, mitzvahs, with emunah and bitachon, and always connected to the Bnei Shalom through this mandate of Lachkor Sa'edim. It's not just to Edim and Bezin, it's to all of us and how we perceive and process the edus, the testimony of this world, and how we inculcate it into our levin and nefesh, our hearts and our souls.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.